Good morning, and it is early November 2021, and I say that because if someone watches this in the future, things are changing week to week, and I just think that if someone's even in 6 months now listening in, they'll say, "Oh, that's such old information." We've had a plug pulled on the slowness of the progression of the divine plan, and things are starting to really move here. Okay, great, good. I've got that chat on because the first portion of our work here today is going to be answering questions. It's almost as if I say a lot of things and I use words or terms, and I want to bring forth a definition or a glossary of terms. Or if you have a question, you can go ahead and put it in the chat of some term or issue that relates to your life that I could talk a little bit more to. That I know if you're thinking it, other people are having the same situation. Well, let's go ahead and drop in first with some nice deep breaths. And I've got the proper sound microphones on. And let's take a deep breath through our nose and out through our mouth. Let's begin to enter that field together of hope, light, and the container of inspiration that occurs when we come together on these Wednesday mornings to be the light. Sometimes one of us is maybe feeling a little dimmed, and so we're holding this light for all of us so that we each can feel more balanced, receive the frequencies and the remembrance of our truest mission and the true core divine essence being that we actually are. Okay, so I hope you're thinking of your questions, and I'll go ahead and play beautiful natural gongs. Just absorb these beautiful notes into your spine. Imagine that you're awakening to higher thoughts, a higher order of calm and purpose and clarity. Clarity on your life and why you are really here in this body this time around. So I am watching to see if there's any messages or in the chat, and so far, no messages. Okay, so I'll watch the chat, but let's go ahead and work with what is up now. That's what we attempt to do every week. And what I am seeing and what we've been talking about the last couple of months is that there has been a reorganization of sorts of the divine plan, of the timing and the rolling out of these are really things that are practically impossible to describe. But as I describe them, there's a part of you that says, yes, that's true. That's exactly accurate, and that's how I feel it. That not just the energy streaming in from the galaxy and from the teams of other divine beings who are assisting and supporting us, streaming through us. But we ourselves are expanding now at a more profoundly accelerated rate because things are starting to move, and the languaging and the containers and the quantum field energy and intentional consciousness work is now becoming normal languaging for the new age leaders. And they're not just talking about it, they're actually being it, embodying it, and doing it now, and holding groups and having people breaking through with miracles. So this is the time I've waited for. It feels like validation. It feels exciting, and it feels like teams are forming everywhere of not just people talking about these wonderful co-creation with source and reorchestrating all that is, but we are doing it. And the people who the masses lean into to say, well, I trust them. Jean Houston, Lynn Taggart, the leaders are embodying it and doing it as never before, because I have watched and tuned in and actually done courses with all of these leaders just to feel and sense. And there's a new freedom. Okay, so now I have some questions. Will the change be an apocalypse or will it be subtle? Well, that is a very good question. Up until last month, the divine plan was orchestrated with an assumption that humans would get the vibrational drift from those that are teaching and working it and creating artwork and such. But the fear and pushback and resistance that arose to absolutely feeling the light and being this light created a cacophonic fear that those who love control and domination theories moved right in with, even to the point where chipping people, and they're using the excuse of, well, we want to know who's vaccinated. They want to know your bank accounts. They want to know everything. So because people weren't waking up and moving into their own absolute autonomy as divine beings, the way that the light beings and the team members, the ground team, assumed they would be, the divine plan had to move ahead without a large number of people who may have thought they might go, who weren't quite sure, will not be going. And so you can imagine that the divine plan is, if it were going really slow like a train, everybody get on the train. You said you want to get on the train. Come on, listen in. With this new age stuff is too crazy and you just can't do it and you're falling back and you're getting more fearful. The train can't wait for everybody forever. The train said, okay, enough people are on board and holding enough light. Put the key in and let's go, and we're going to go fast. We're now on a trajectory of moving. And when I listen to the new thought leaders and the luscious languaging that they've built over years, but more than that, the actual embodiment and presence of their own divinity and shifting the divinity of people within their realms, it's an outing. We are out. Our work is out. It is safe to be operationally seen divine being out in the world now. And that is going to move everything quickly. Why? Because these people have great followings. Remember Richard, was it Dwyer? All these people were like the beginning stages, and now we have beings like Barbara Marx Hubbard was the perfect person who talked about it, but now everybody has played their role, and now we are moving ahead. So will it be apocalyptic? It will definitely be this bullet train, this light, this swath of beauty and pure light that will blind, dazzle, and be confusing, not accessible. It's the train that is getting a little bit out of the mass collective consciousness sight. So if you're on the train, how could it be apocalyptic to be co-creating with like-minded souls beautiful new pockets of sustainable living, outrageous art interwoven with universal breath in the angelic realms of intense expansion? So the important thing is, and I've always said, find your circle and stick with it. You're going to be creating communities with a pretty solid immunity of the heavier, darker realms of fear and control, because honestly, they won't be able to access and see us from where they are residing. So it's a time more of separation. And the apocalypse, anything that is not in divine order, people, places, and things, will have its own dissolution. So of course, we knew this was going to happen, and we are going to witness more and more dissolution without attachment, because there is free will and choice, and there always was in every step of the way. Every step of the way. So the apocalypse will not be raining down on your head because you're creating something new, okay? The apocalypse, in that term, the dissolution will occur in various degrees, in various vibrational realms as natural consequences. I raised my children with that. I said, well, if you keep eating candy, you're going to feel really sick. You didn't listen, and now you're going to feel really sick and not want any more candy. So everyone has their choice of when to make that change of not doing things that hurt them over and over again. Okay, I hope that answered that. The doors have been opened, and we are free to bring our whole self to this time space. Yes, absolutely. And it is amazing, the timing of it. I just did an interview, it was just released yesterday. And the woman who did it in Portugal, her name is Swanette Kurt. She's so lovely. And she has a global healing forum and interviews people. And the day that I interviewed it, I said, well, I said so many things that might disturb people, that I even think this way and I have these thoughts. And Spirit said, Jan, this interview will be a game changer. Well, and fascinatingly, she didn't release it for quite a long time. And a few weeks ago, I said, oh, I'm just wondering, did it work out okay? Is it something releasable? And she said, oh, I'm just holding it and working on it. I said, good, because I trust in divine timing. And so last night, she said, it's ready. And I said, oh, I guess it's game-changing time. It's time to be out, and it's time to be seen. So this morning, I just pressed send, and I sent it out to the community. And I say a lot of wild things that my sisters and brothers might not even know that I felt and thought growing up. And so, yes, it is safe to say the truth. Those without ears to hear will continue to not hear it, but on some level, some part of themselves are going to say, thank goodness the pretend is over. The pretend, the holding on to false narratives, the old skeleton stories that you still wind yourself around and you're careful to not move or say anything. Landmines. We've been living in landmines with wounded people and stories forever. So if we all say the truth and just release it in loving ways, we can be ourselves. And I've often said the fifth dimension, the very foundation of it is to live in an undefended state. What does that mean? You don't have to watch your back. The minute we were born into this world, chaos, dissonance, manipulation. You go to school, there's the bullies, there's the mean teacher. I used to have Miss Klein who'd grab me by the nose and pull me and make me stand in front of a blue door if I didn't behave and be quiet. And then if I was worse, I'd have to stand in front of a mirror. And well, I probably deserved in that paradigm, because in kindergarten, when the teacher said, okay, let's put away the blocks, we're going to go sing at the piano, I'd say, if anybody here still wants to continue playing with the blocks, raise your hand and stay over here with me, and the rest of you go with the teacher. That didn't go over very well with Miss Shesky. Okay, let me see if there's any more comments or questions here. Okay, well, maybe you'll have comments and questions after our meditation. We're going to drop into the Be the Light meditation now, and I'll keep an eye. Maybe something will come up for you. So we're so delightfully connected now, and the synchronicities are, of course, increasing. And a few weeks ago, this delightful being here in Olympia, Margit, mentioned that there is another gentleman who's doing what we often do here, is we go to the future. And he's actually made a platform and a group about this. And now I find Gene Houston is taking people to the future and assigning that their bodies are perfectly well, and then coming back and logging that information into their body so that it's prevented. So I think the best use of our time today will be to continue what we began 2 weeks ago, is looking a little bit ahead. Why? It'll give us confidence that if there is many apocalyptic dissolution, changing in relationships, cities kind of going down, that we're going to take a deep breath and say, we understand this is all part of the needed rearranging. I don't want to say purification because it gives a good and bad connotation. These are all just slated, needed changes for new frequency forms that are more benevolent, that are divinely orchestrated from a higher level. So it'll help you move through whatever is coming. But since you're here, I hope that you're feeling, I want to get information about me. How will I be operating in the future? And what will I be doing? And where will I be with who? This is stunningly valuable information. There's someone on this call who told me they had a vision and saw some of us that work on this container every Wednesday would be the light, living in Arizona in community. So we don't know if we all live there permanently or if we're there with the group, but I love that sort of feedback because we're co-creating this. We are a team. You're on other teams as well. It's the SOAR template. Overlapping circles of like-minded vibrational people raising and holding more and more light all the time. So if we go ahead, let's go ahead 10 years. That feels kind of solid because there's going to be a lot of changes. We actually discerned that between 26 and 27, 26 and 27 is when the fear factor falls away on Earth. And since most of the crummy things, the wonky things on Earth are fear-based that cause all the, squiggly behaviors, that's when we can take a breath and begin the true co-creation. But we're finding our circles of co-creation now. So if we go to the future, we're going to get excitement and ideas for what is possible so we can back engineer it and make more viable, joyful living choices today. I don't know about you, but it's been so crazy the last year that I've kind of said, well, you know, my own personal train, I'm going to kind of breathe and do less. And I want to reorchestrate myself. I don't want to be the old me. I don't want to be the old practitioner I was. I don't want to be the old mother, the old friend. I want to be the new model of me. And you can't do that when you're busy being the old model, keeping all that going. So I can see more of the new, the Ferrari Jan. You could see your Ferrari self, and we're letting go of the old parts of ourselves. And we can do that quicker if we see the new self. Okay, so that's another reason. Let me see, are there any more comments? Do feel free to comment, but we're going to drop in and go to the future, and then we'll come back. Okay, let's use a little bit of sound. Let's take a nice deep breath through our nose and out through our mouth. Take your focus of your attention into your heart. Only energies and thoughts of the highest light may be in our space now. Make sure that you are muted before we drop in, just in case a dog, a person, or a cell phone goes off. Notice how your heart feels, and let's send a little softening energy to your heart, and let it begin to open, open, and open, so that there are spaces between the energetic profile of your heart. This picture, this profile of yourself and your life, and what you have held close to your life, let it begin to not throw things away, but just to gently open, to let new air, a beautiful, rarefied, subtle new mist of divine energy work its way through this mosaic kaleidoscope of your beingness here in this body now. We put a beautiful whole line of balance, a geometric structure around our body. We remove everyone else's energy and thoughts, our to-do lists. In this moment, we claim that it is safe to stop thinking about anything and everything. We ask and intend that we still our thoughts and our mind, and we just simply drop down and sense the openness, the presence of our divine consciousness in the heart area of our chest. And do notice that you are still present, and you are listening, and you are open, and you're safe without your mind, without your ego. You are simply present, and you are resting. You are resting the monitoring, the checking, all that it takes to feel and stay safe in a human body in the third dimension. You are practicing and instilling a new frequency field of complete, undefended space and safety, where you don't have to be apprehensive or pre-plan or control or know things. It is a new skill. It is a new way of being. And so we are instituting and allowing our body to feel this state. Notice if you have any tension in your stomach and begin to let it melt. Just let go. Just let go and let it melt, so that your entire body is dropping in to this state of just beingness. Take a deep breath through your nose and out through your mouth. And imagine in this state of beingness that you are sitting in an all-white room. And the wall that you are facing becomes a movie screen. It is not just a movie screen, it is like a virtual reality, a possible virtual reality of your future. We ask and intend that this virtual reality screen becomes fully real, has all the dimensionality, the color, the smell of the year 2031 on Earth. Allow your third eye to open and to see and sense and feel. Allow, you are sitting in a white room to begin this meditation. Allow the walls to fall. You don't need any containment to be fully present in this new, safe environment in the year 2031. Allow yourself to look around and notice the energies, the colors, the glow, the depth, the prismatic movement of profoundly rich colorations of the environment. Notice if there are other beings there with you. Notice the types of bodies that are carrying these conscious beings around in your environment. Notice the natural features. Trees, sun, flowers. Are there pathways, homes, businesses? Notice that you have chosen a specific place and time and scenario that is significant for your journey to know in relationship to the journey and decisions you are making today. So just focus on this one environment. Take your attention to your body. How do you feel? Do you feel expanded? Do you feel safe? Do you feel heavy, light, open, guarded? Do you feel connected to these other beings? Do you feel connected to other beings in the universe from other galaxies? And most importantly, do you feel connected and one with Source, the creator of all that is. Allow this information to be made real in your physical body, your cellular functioning. Let your bones hold this template, this beingness of yourself in the future, here now, in this physical body, in this realm. Allow everything in your body to recalibrate. That is the perfect timing for you, for your presence. Allow things to stretch and move and settle into place. It's almost like a color by number that is being recolored. Just allow it. And let all of this feel grounded. In this quiet space, while you are being, the matter that you are, the physical matter is being spiritualized to the greatest degree. Open your ears and ask, what is the most important message that I can receive from the future to bring back to 2021? And I will be quiet with my speaking while this occurs and just play the gongs while you receive this message. Breathe this in. Let this coloration be like ribbons moving through your heart. Beautiful colored ribbons reweaving the fabric of you. Weaving in and tattooing hope. H-O-P-E. Hope is rekindled and alive. It is the fire and passion when you wake up in the morning to move and to bring the future here closer in every word, every deed, every action. Take a nice deep breath and just breathe in this excitement, all this potential and possibility of these changes coming to our dear earth through you. Beautiful, beautiful. I feel it galvanizing in your bones. I feel all those little 0 points twinkling. Excellent. So as all of this is integrating and forming new foundations within your being, imagine that you're putting a beautiful, golden, resilient egg around your entire body that protects this energy and allows it to kind of gel, kind of settle in. This perfected health, this well-being, this expanded Sense as if you're floating through this world. You are, you're lighter, you're a light being here in this world. And you will begin feeling that other people's heaviness is outside of your body as it should be. There's no need to merge with other people's misery. They need your light. So keep this beautiful, diaphanous golden bubble so that you can keep creating more bubbles. You're a bubble machine, sending out those joyous bubbles. Who doesn't smile when you see a bubble machine or pour some champagne? You are that flute of champagne, celebrating the eventual, full divine plan happening on earth. Joyous co-creation. I get so happy. Relief of human misery. Relief of the mutated earth plane by non-benevolent forces. It's the ending of a long, dark chapter for humans because of your dedication and saying yes and sticking with it. And now with more movement, we're finally getting on the road. We're getting there. We're chugging along faster now. We're really moving. And that's a lot of hope. That is a whole lot of hope. Take a nice deep breath, and we're going to come back now. So wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Excellent. We're coming back into our physical body here, into this room and this environment. And I'll check and see if there's any more questions. And I'll just sit back for a minute and see if anybody wants to write anything in the chat before we stop the recording portion and then actually have a community chat. For those of you that are watching this the first time, we have a meditation to be the light meditation based on a communal theme that I kind of intuit. And then we stop the recording where people can talk off camera, because every one of these videos is put up on the YouTube channel. Yeah, I hope you join the YouTube channel. If you're watching this, you can see, you just press subscribe. And that way you'll be notified when a new video comes out, because they are subsequently themed and moving along, and they're all titled to help people understand that particular theme. And because of the quantum time and space, it doesn't matter when in the future you watch one of these, because you're reaching out for the resonance you need in that moment. And that's why they're all different themes. Okay, so I'm not seeing any more chats. So let's see, we'll close the chat. We'll close the recording and I'll bring everybody in. My name is Jan Jorgensen at soundandlighthealingarts.com. And I am very clearly thinking and moving towards creating small groups of people, of envisioning the future with specific themes in areas for their communities to help them move things along quickly. So I haven't formed the wording and the actual practical way of delivering those little circles. Okay, recording is stopping.